Hello and welcome back to the Eastwick Conference's film breakdown series where after last night, of course I was going to come out here and talk about Victor Wembanyama. 40 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block against the Los Angeles Lakers. 13 for 20 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, and 10 for 12 from the free throw line, barely playing in the second half of this game. Very important to note, this Lakers team was playing without just about all of its best players. Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, even DeAndre Ayton was out, which means that not only was this team just very unserious as a concept, but also very small. In any case, it was very nice to see Victor come out and destroy them, and I generally think that this guy with a grudge might be the single most dangerous player in the NBA. So we're just going to go through and watch all of his made field goals in order. The first one here is something that you've barely ever seen throughout the history of this sport, and that is a 7'5" guy grabbing a defensive rebound and just going coast to coast and finishing. But this one here, I really like it because he catches it over in the corner with Jake LaRavia, a smaller forward on him. And what I really love about this is not only his real willingness to push his way towards the basket, but the lack of wasted motion along the way. That's something that I think he struggled with a little bit more, especially early on in his career, was really handling that physicality when bodying up against other guys. But here you see, catches it, puts one shoulder in, and then spins to the other side and finishes that with a dunk. Then he decided to just get really hot from three. His three-point shooting has been a topic of conversation throughout his career. He's taking less of them than he did last season, but he's still shooting 37%. And when he's hot, he is scorching. Like, oh my God, like, what do you do as a defense? You can't even contest that. Poor Maxi Kleber is just stuck putting an arm up and praying, basically. Then here in the pick and roll with Stefan Castle, I think he does a very good job. There you saw stayed up at the level of the screen, really didn't even need to make that much contact, but stayed up, let Castle rescreen up until the moment that Vic's man comes out to try to stop the ball. And at that moment, this lane to the basket gets opened up. He eats into that space, and he uses that catch radius that nobody else in the sport has ever had. Now here, this one, it's really bad defense by the Lakers, but I also think that it's just wild to watch from a conceptual standpoint, seeing Vic on the weak side of the floor. The action is going to start over here with Castle dribbling. He's going to get this screen from a guard. So a guard is screening for a 7'5" center. That's Devin Vassell. Devin Vassell's a really good shooter, so Luke Kennard wants to stay hugged up on him. So does LaRavia, and the C's just part. It's really bad defense, but still, it's just wild to see how creative the Spurs can get in how they want to use this guy. It's really, really scary. And here, if you want to talk about scary, is the shot that I think if he can really hone into is going to turn him into an absolutely unstoppable player. We already know what he can do on defense. On offense, if he can get into that shot, catching the ball in the middle of the floor and working out there as a shot creator, it's been inconsistent for him. That's a really great instance of him doing the work early. You see how he makes this post position. He's already in the middle of the paint by the time his teammates have crossed the half-court line. He's right there. They do a good job of spacing the floor out for him, but he's able to catch in an area of advantage and just turn and shoot right over the contest that doesn't really exist. Here, De'Aaron Fox gets the steal, gets a little too fancy with it, but it does not matter because that cleanup crew is unlike anything you've ever seen. Now here, again, another instance of not great defense by the Lakers because Luke Kennard, the smallest Laker, is guarding Victor Wembanyama, the largest player in the league. But again, you can see the lack of wasted motion and then that fundamental jump stop, again, into an area of a real advantage for him where he knows and he's in control of what he wants to do. Rui Hachimura comes over to help. Neither of these guys have a chance to make this shot any more difficult than Vic wants it to be, and that's right in the basket. Here, once again, we see another catch in the middle of the floor, but instead of having a larger forward-sized player on him, it's Kennard once again. And so speaking about the physicality that he's leaning into more and more, instead of going for the fadeaway, just puts a shoulder into him, pivots over, and dunks right over the top. That is terrifying stuff. And then here he gets the miss, but it's a chaos situation. Dylan Harper recovers it, and all you need to do is throw the ball near the basket, and that is 2 free points for your team. Now, if you were paying attention, you were looking at the bottom right corner of the screen and noticing that all of those plays were in the first half. This last one right here, he gives up the ball after getting double teamed, gets it right back, and he makes his 4th three just for good measure. Was his only made field goal of the third quarter. 37 of his 40 points came in the first half of this game. He absolutely demolished this Laker team. If this was anything remotely resembling a close game, he could have had 50, he could have had 60, but he did his work. He stomped this team out. When Vic plays with that chip on his shoulder like he did in the season opener against Anthony Davis, another 40-point game from him, I think that he is a truly unstoppable threat. You can just kind of, again, put two hands up and pray that he misses more often than not, to say nothing of his actually game-changing ability on defense. As this guy grows, he's still so young. That shot creation that we saw a little bit of that post fade, that ability to really fight into defenders, put your shoulder into them, and get to the spins and the pivots, and just being able to finish over the top once he works his way to the basket. Against better defenses, it's not as easy for him to do stuff like that, but we're watching the slow progressive growth of that part of his skill set when you combine that with his three-point shot making, which again, as I said, 37% on the season, that is above league average. He's not a bad shooter at all. And then his otherworldly ability to finish at the basket, either just from shot creation on drives or finishing alley-oops, capitalizing on the attention that a De'Aaron Fox or a Stephon Castle generate. He really, people say it because it's true, has potential to break this game, and he broke the Lakers last night. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you appreciate it as always. I really appreciate you watching, and I hope that you have a great day.